a lot of stuff like this. Are you ready? All right, well, we give praise, glory, and honor to the Most High Yahweh with Yahushua HaMashiach. And get you John 5:39. John 5:39. You go ahead and get that one. And Stanley, get me 2nd Chronicles chapter 24 and about verse 8. 2nd Chronicles chapter 24 and about verse 8. We'll see what verse 8 says. Go ahead.
Search the scriptures, for in them ye think ye have eternal life, and they are they which testify of me. And ye will not come to me that ye might have life. I receive not honor from men, but I know that ye have not the love of Alahym in you.
We know the love of the Most High in a lot of people. Before you go any further, because you already there, give me John 7:37. John 7:37. Woo! I know a lot of things been said, a lot of things been heard. All I can do is put the information out here and let you judge. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to deal with a couple things this afternoon. Come on, Will.
In the last day, that great day of the feast, Yahushua stood and cried, saying, If any man thirst, let him come unto me and drink.
What did he say after that?
He that believeth on me, as the scripture hath said, out of his belly shall flow rivers of living water.
Why is that?
But this spake he of the Ruach, which they have believed on should receive. For the Ruach HaKodesh was not yet given.
So the only way he's referring to that, this is what would be given to those that believe on him. Now, something coming to my mind there. Hold on. Tell me what that 2nd Chronicles chapter 24, about verse 8 says. Give him a chance to get that. 2nd Chronicles chapter 24, everybody. We're going to get this alphabet in a second. But we'll deal with that, and we'll try to take some of these things and tie it in to the alphabet, Most High. 2nd Chronicles chapter 24 and about verse 8. 2nd Chronicles chapter 24 about verse 8. Go ahead, sir.
And at the king's commandment, they made a chest and set it without at the gate of the house of Yahuwah. And they made a proclamation through Yehuda and Yerushalayim to bring in to Yahuwah the collection that Moshe, the servant of Alahym, laid upon Yasharal in the wilderness. And all the princes, and all the prince and all the people rejoiced and brought in and cast into the chest until they had made an end. Now it came to pass that at what time the chest was brought into the king's office by the hand of the Levites. And when they saw that there was much money, the king's scribe and the high priest officer came and emptied the chest and took it and carried it to the place again.
Go ahead.
Thus they did day by day and gathered money in abundance.
Go ahead.
And the king in Yehuda gave it to such as did the work.
He gave it to who?
Yehuda.
He gave it to who though?
Yehuda.
No, he said he gave it to who?
Yahuda.
He didn't give it to Yehuda. Read it again.
And the king in, that's what it's saying in the Sefer. And the king in Yehuda
gave it to such as did the what?
Work of the service
he
of
gave
the
it
house
to who? Those that did the work of the service. Go ahead.
of the house of Yahuwah, and hired masons and carpenters to repair the house of Yahuwah.
What else?
And also such as wrought iron and brass to mend the house of Yahuwah.
To mend it means to repair, right? Come on.
So the workmen wrought, and the
workmen did what?
Wrought.
They did what?
Wrought.
Come on.
And the work was perfect by them. And
the work was what?
Perfect by them.
It was made perfect by them. What else did they do?
And they set the house of Alahym in his state and strengthened it.
They did what?
They set the house of Alahym in his state and strengthened it.
They strengthened it. Now, he said these men, the workmen, wrought. So that means they did their work. And when they did their work, they perfected it. Will, give me Ephesians chapter 4 and about verse 6. Stanley, get me Matthew chapter 10 and pick up at about verse 5 is good. Stanley, go first, though. Stanley, come to that Matthew 10 and 5 first. Let's deal with this here.
Matthew 10, verse 5.
Give a chance to get there. Matthew 10 and 5 first. Give a chance. We don't take our time. We don't rush. We don't rush. I'm talking about if need be, because we sat down and discussed certain things, we can leave here and go to a neutral location and keep on going. You know what I'm saying? I'm dead serious about that. We go neutral location and keep on going. You know what I'm saying? Unfortunately, we don't have that ability where we ain't got to get up because we can go all night. Make sure everybody understands. So even if nobody understand when the sun go down and you ain't got nowhere you got to go, then we can go find a neutral location. If somebody parked on clothing, where it is, you can sit down here and we make sure everybody clear before they go home. I mean that. Come on.
Matthew 10, verse 5. These 12 Yahushua sent forth and commanded them, saying, Go not into the way of the Gentiles, and into any city of the Samaritans enter ye not, but go rather to the lost sheep of the house of Yasharal. And as ye go, preach, saying, The kingdom of Shamayim is at hand. Heal the sick, cleanse the lepers, raise the dead, cast out devils. Freely ye have received, freely give. Provide neither gold, nor silver, nor brass in your purses.
Why is that, Masha?
Nor scrip for your journey, neither 2 coats, neither shoes, nor yet staffs, for the workman is worthy of his meat.
The workman is worthy of what?
Of his meat.
The workman is worthy. Ain't that what you just seen in 2 Chronicles? Is that what we just seen in 2 Chronicles? That he said those workmen were worthy of the things they were doing, right? Now look at Ephesians 4 and 14. Come on, Will. Ephesians 4 and 14, everybody. Not 4 and 14. I'm getting ahead of myself. I said verse 6.
One Alahym, and Father of all, who is above all, and through all, and in all,
And you all.
and you all.
Come on.
But unto every one of us is given grace according to the measure of the gift of Mashiach.
He say everybody is given grace or undeserved favor or the gift according to what a Mashiach want to give. Hold on before you keep reading. Get your John chapter 3. Stanley get it. John chapter 3, man, about verse 29. Make it 27. 3 and 27. Let's see what it says. You can John 3 and 27. John 3 and 27. Let's see what it says. Hold on. Give him a second to get there. John 3 and 27. Give him a second. Y'all ready? Let's go.
Yahushua answered and said, A man can receive nothing except it be given from Shamayim.
You can't get nothing from Yah. Hold on. You can't get nothing from this man except he give to you. You know how we know this here? Where did the law of Alahym come from? It came from Shamayim. Moses went up on the mount and got the tablets, and he got it and brought it down to the people. That's an example. Read that again.
Yahushua answered and said, A man can receive nothing except it be given from Shamayim.
He can't get nothing except. We already know that. We know our law. Our law say Moses got that from on high. Abraham was a prophet. Where did he get his revelation from? From Shamayim. You know what I'm saying? Where did Isaac get his from? Where did Jacob get his from? Where did Noah get his from? It was given to them. They couldn't, you know how many, you sit back and look at it, we looked at it last night. I ain't even read that yet, so just hold that there. Hold your Ephesians 4. I want that Job 32, about verse 7. I meant to read that before we start. I thank the Most High. Like sometimes I done told y'all this here, T know it. Some of y'all know it. I say, I'll let you be the judge. Some of y'all who done heard me on them blog talks, you heard when I was preaching, you let that be the judge. You know what I'm talking about? You sit back looking at that boy got to know something. Because I ain't never heard nothing like this here before. Where I get it from? Man, look here, man. I'll tell you something, boy. I ain't that good, man. Some of y'all done heard me say that. I ain't that good. I ain't that smart. You know what I'm saying? I got a good memory, but it ain't that good. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to sit here and say I taught myself that. Have any of y'all ever heard me say I taught myself anything? Well, I would take that as being extremely blasphemous. Man sit back and say he taught himself the word. I'm not going to sit here and say that. That's ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? I'll tell you like this. You don't believe I got the word, you can calmly leave. I'm not going to be mad at you. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to be mad at you. I'm going to be like, man, that nigga, that's tripping. Who that nigga think he is? Hey, man, do what you feel you need to do. You know what I'm saying? Tino, I done told her that plenty of times on sir. Do what you feel you need to do. It's not going to stop me from what I'm supposed to be doing. Have I not told you that? Come on, Will. 32. In verse 7, yes, sir. Job 32 and 7.
I said, they should speak, and multitude of years should teach wisdom.
See, that's why he come in and why he mentioned, like, okay, experience. You see what I'm saying? Remember how y'all talking about he said y'all experience? Did he say that to your court? That's what he said. They should teach, right? But keep on going, though.
But there is a ruach in man, and the inspiration of the Almighty giveth them understanding.
And what else?
Great men are not always wise.
Oh.
Great men are not always wise.
Come on.
Neither do the age understand judgment.
That don't mean just because you old. That doesn't mean that just because you old mean you got wisdom and you got understanding. Because there's old fool. Please do not mistake that I'm trying to say that about him. Because that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the issue he's saying, well, you need experience. Read that verse again for me, Will.
Great men are not always wise, neither do the aged understand judgment.
Sometimes, well, how many older people you done seen flat out stupid? Ain't got no, I'm talking about got plenty of life experience, but can't give you no judgment, can't give you no wisdom, can't give you no understanding. I remember being in prison, man, the younger dudes would be like, man, we want to talk to these older niggas, but they dumb. You know what I'm saying? We already know, I know me and my homeboys done had conversations like that. It's natural for a young man to want to holler at somebody older than him. You know what I'm saying? Because they sitting back looking at, boy, you supposed to put me up on some game. But when we go holler at these older cats, they dumber than we are. You know what I'm saying? So we like, well, how we supposed to get something from you? Nigga, you in the, boy, you know, being in prison, boy, you see a 50-year-old man, he's sagging his pants. He's like, look at this clown. Nigga, you 50. Nigga bouncing around here thinking they still young. You know what I'm saying? But you see how he says the ruach in a man that give him understanding. Come on back to Ephesians 4 then. Ain't that the same thing he just read right there? But you can, I mean, he could go back to his Ephesians 4. You come finish this John 3 and 27. Who gave Moses his inspiration? You know, in Exodus chapter 4, Moses said, man, I don't know what I should say. He said, don't worry about it. I'll be your mouth. And I'll tell you what you ought to say. And what gave him the inspiration? The spirit of Yahuwah gave him the inspiration on what he ought to speak. And he spoke it. That's why we done talked that, we done went over that before when the Mashiach say, don't sit back and think about what you're going to say. Say the Ruach HaKodesh in that very hour will give you what you should speak. You know what I'm saying? I could not be able to speak anything that I speak on my own accord. You know what I'm saying? That's going to be impossible. If you would have ever heard me say that, every person on that phone and in this room ought to leave. I said it because I taught myself that, so y'all ain't had nothing to do with it. Or one of his servants that he sent ain't had nothing to do with it. You know what I'm saying? Boy, some of y'all done heard me confound men on certain stuff and they go off on me about stuff. Y'all done heard that. On blog talks, on conference calls we done been on, done think like this here stumper. How many of them niggas done came at me about something that we believe and they done stumped me that you done heard? Any of y'all ever heard it? You know what I'm talking about? How many of y'all done came and asked me a question about something and I'd be like this here, boy, I can't help it. I'm going to show it to you. Come on, Stanley.
John 3, verse 27. Y'all, you could not answer and said, a man can receive nothing except it be given from Shamayim. Ye yourselves bear me witness that I said I am not the Mashiach, but that I am sent before him. He that hath the bride is the bridegroom, but the friend of the bridegroom which standeth and hear him rejoice greatly because of the bridegroom's voice. This my joy therefore is fulfilled. He must increase, but I must decrease. He that come from above is above all. He that is of the earth is earthly, and speak of the earth. He that come from Shamayim is above all.
You see what he just told you? That come from the earth gonna speak of the earth. So that means those people who are of the world and are carnal are gonna speak of the things that are carnal. You know, he told Nicodemus, he said, if you don't believe earthly things, how shall you believe heavenly things? When you speaking about a Mashiach, you speaking about him who come from above, who is above all. You know what I'm saying? If you of the earth, you're not going to be able to do that. You know what I'm saying? I am not a special individual by any means and stretch of the imagination. I done told some of y'all this here, right? I used to deal with this young woman, right? I was sitting in the house with her, and I looked in her face and I told her, I said, you know a priest can't marry no whore. She looked at me and said, what you trying to be? I looked at her, I'm like, I ain't even talking about you and me. You know what I'm saying? I'm dead serious though. This is 2011. In 2011, I was able to show her how Mashiach was the high priest and what he had to do to be able to marry his wife, because the law precludes a high priest from marrying a whore. I had only been dealing with the word 2 years at that time. How was I able to know that? I had never heard it preached. And obviously she thought that I was referencing between me and her. I wasn't even talking about her. Or me. You know how silly she looked when I looked at her and said, I ain't even talking about you. You know what I'm saying? But you know the reason being is, how many of y'all ever heard that before? High priest can't marry no whore. You know what I'm saying? Then you turn around and you see what a Mashiach did to be able to fulfill that. That's not readily known information. You know what I'm saying? Just because somebody say they know the whole book about Mashiach, don't mean they actually understand. You understand what I'm telling you? See, matter of fact, Will, give me Luke chapter 24, about verse 44. 24 and 44. Luke 24 and 44. Stanley, you hold your John 3 and 27 and get me Proverbs chapter 8 and about verse 4. Make it 3. Look at them cheeks. I gotta do it. I can't stand that nigga every time you see me.
Luke 24:44.
Luke 24 and 44.
And he said unto them, These are the words which I spoke unto you while I was yet with you, that all things must be fulfilled, which were written in the law of Moshe, and in the prophets, and in the Psalms concerning me.
What else?
Then opened he their understanding, that they might understand the scriptures.
He did what?
Then he opened up their understanding, that they might understand the scriptures.
He opened it up that they might know that he was the one. Read that Proverbs 8 verse 9. Now the only way they could have been able to know that is why? Because of on high. Because he that is a, you gotta understand something. He rose from the dead right then. That made him above all. Ain't that right? Because he became Yasharal at that point as a prince. Thou hast power with all, and has ruled, and has prevailed. Which means that made him the firstborn of everything. That he had preeminence in the body, which would make him above all. You know what I'm saying? Because he got that from Alahym, because the Ruach HaKodesh raised him from the dead. That's where he got it from. Come on. Proverbs 8 3.
Proverbs 8 verse 3. She cries at the gates, at the entry of the city, at the coming in at the doors. Unto you, O men, I call, and my voice is to the sons of men. O ye simple, understand wisdom.
Understand what?
Understand wisdom.
Go ahead.
And ye fools, be of an understanding heart.
Understanding heart.
Hear, for I will speak of excellent things.
Excellent things.
In the opening of my lips shall be right things.
And ain't that's amazing? He opened his lips and expounded the scriptures, them that were right things. Come on.
For my mouth shall speak truth.
Speak what?
Shall speak truth.
What else?
And wickedness is an abomination to my lips.
So anything that's wicked, I ain't gonna speak that.
All the words of my mouth are in righteousness. There is nothing forward or preserved in them.
Oh, what you got and go to 1 Peter chapter 2 about verse 1. First Peter chapter 2, verse 1. First Peter chapter 2, verse 20. Go ahead, sir.
For even hereunto were ye called, for Mashiach also suffered for us, leaving us an example, that ye should follow his steps.
What else?
Who did no sin, neither was guile found in his mouth.
Because wickedness is an abomination to my lips. It's unfroward and perverse sinner. Come on.
Who when he was reviled not again. When he suffered, he threatened not, but committed himself to him that judges righteous.
That's why you sit back and look at it. You got certain lies and things that they want to say about me. I ain't going to do it right. For what? What's the point? You know what I'm saying? Come on.
Who his own self bare our sins in his own body on a tree, that we being dead to sin should live righteously, by whose stripes we were healed.
Go ahead.
For ye were as sheep going astray, but are now returned to the shepherd and the bishop of your soul.
Now, Mashiach is the chief shepherd and bishop. That's why we're going to tie all this in. Come on back to where you was at, Will. Finish what you got, Stan. We're going to finish in John 3. Will is in Ephesians chapter 4. Now, I bring the reason why we didn't read more about the Ruach giving inspiration to men, because we read about that last night in 1 Corinthians chapter 2, didn't we? Where he talked about who know the spirit of a man saying the man, and we only know things that are revealed to us by the Ruach HaKodesh, but we compare spiritual things with spiritual. You know what I'm saying? He said, but those who are carnal, he said they can't understand these things because they're not spiritually discerned. They're not able to know. Go ahead. Go ahead, Stan.
Are we in John 3?
Yeah, finish that.
John 3, I'm at verse 32.
John 3 and 32.
And what he has seen and heard, that he testifies, and no man receive his testimony. He that have received his testimony has seen to his seal that Alahym is
He
true.
that received his testimony has done what?
Has set to his seal that Alahym is
He
true.
set to his seal. Then we just talked about that seal last night.
Yeah.
Now he said receive his testimony. That's the testimony of the Son. Hold what you got, Will. Give me Amos 3 and 7. Look at Amos 3 and 7. He said, and Stanley, you get me Romans 16 and 24. He said, you set to the seal that his testimony is true. If you preach a Mashiach, that means you set to the seal that Yahuwah is the living Alahym. That's the whole purpose. The whole purpose of preaching the Mashiach is to get a man to come to the Father. Period. Come on.
Amos 3 and 7.
Go ahead.
Surely Yahuwah Alahym will do nothing.
He'll do what?
He will do nothing.
What he gonna do?
But he reveals his secrets unto his servants, the prophets.
What is his secret?
The lion have
Let's go.
roared.
What is his secret? Who know what his secret is? Any of y'all know what his secret is? What's his secret?
The testimony.
Get Deuteronomy 29 and 29, Will. What's his secret? So you gotta sit back and look at something. What I got you on?
You got me on Romans 16, 20.
16 and 24. You get you also put your marker for I'll tell you this. Come on, Will. Deuteronomy 29 and 29.
The
Make it
secret
27.
and the anger of Yahuwah was kindled against this land, to bring upon it all the curses that are written in this book. And Yahuwah rooted them out of their land in anger, and in wrath, and in great indignation, and cast them unto another land, as it is this day.
Go ahead.
The secret thing belongs unto Yahuwah our
The
Alahym.
secret things belong to who?
Yahuwah our Alahym.
But what's revealed to us?
But those things which are revealed belong unto us, and to our children forever, that we may do all the words of this Torah.
At that time, the secret had been revealed. But then he turned around and said he revealed his secret to the prophets. Give me 1 Peter chapter 1, standing about verse 6, or verse 9, really. Or give me 7. That's not what I had in mind. Give me a second.
1 Peter 1, verse 7. That the trial of your faith, being much more precious than of gold that perish, though it be tried with fire, might be found unto praise and honor and esteem at the appearing of Yahushua HaMashiach, whom having not seen ye love, in whom though now ye see him not, yet believing ye rejoice with joy unspeakable and full of glory,
Go ahead.
receiving the end of your faith, even the salvation of your souls.
What else?
Of which salvation the prophets had inquired and searched diligently
of. But what happened?
who prophesied of the grace that should come unto you, searching what manner of time the Ruach of Yahushua, which was in them, did signify, when it testified beforehand the sufferings of Mashiach, and the esteem that should follow. Unto whom it was revealed that not unto themselves, but unto us that they did minister the things which are now reported unto you by them that have preached the gospel unto you with the Ruach HaKodesh sent down from Shamayim.
So that means to tell you that these men didn't even know what they were going to end up doing. Now something else just come to my mind. Give me 1 Corinthians chapter 2 and verse 4 stand. Remember he said he that is above all. Do y'all know who went above all? Who can we read that had a testimony that went above all?
Joseph.
Huh? I'm talking about went above all. When we talking about he that has come from above is above all, right? You above all, how would you be above all?
Moses.
Moses went above all, so it's not, that ain't who I had in mind. Elijah did, right? Didn't he go above all? And when he went above all, what did he end up doing? He ended up sending his spirit upon who? You know what I'm talking about? And then and after that, what did the people say? We see the spirit of Elijah doth rest on Elisha. You know what I'm saying? That spirit rested upon him and he went and did the works that Elijah did. Came in that same spirit, came in that same power. You know what I'm talking about? When you look at coming in the spirit of Mashiach, you're going to come in that same spirit. You're going to come in that same power. We done dealt with this before. What did the man say? he that glorify himself is unrighteous. He that seek the glory of him that sent him, the same is true. And there's no unrighteousness in it. Come on, Stanley.
You said 1 Corinthians
2 and 4. Give me verse 3.
And I was with you in weakness and in fear and in much trembling.
Mm-hmm.
And my speech and my preaching was not with enticing words of man's wisdom.
He say my speech and my preaching wasn't with what?
Enticing words of man's
Are
wisdom.
we using enticing words of man's wisdom like Satan used it easy?
No.
Come on.
But in demonstration of the Ruach and of power.
It is saying demonstration of the Spirit. So what that mean if you demonstrate the Spirit?
You're showing the works.
That mean you showing what it does. So you have to ask yourself, according to what the word say, have you seen that demonstration? Because what do we read what Paul say? He say, if I'm not an apostle unto you, he say, for those that examine me. Because for all intents and purposes, I'm being examined. You know what I'm saying? That means you have to sit back and look at a demonstration of power. That whether he say what a Ruach HaKodesh is, there's power. What a testimony of a Mashiach is, there is power. You can't have power without a Mashiach. He said, without me, you can do nothing. So that means I couldn't be able to do nothing without him. I can't do this on my own. That is impossible. Come on, Stan.
Verse 5. That your faith should not stand in the wisdom of men, but in the power of Alahym.
Go ahead.
Howbeit we speak wisdom among them that are perfect, yet not the wisdom of this world, nor the princes of this world that come to naught. But we speak the wisdom of Yahuwah in a mystery.
In a what?
In a mystery.
If it's another, so when we looking at it, if it's a mystery, what that make it? It make it a secret. Come on.
Even the hidden wisdom.
The hidden what?
Even the hidden wisdom, which Yahuwah ordained before the world unto our esteem. Which none of the prince of this world knew. For had they known it, they would not have crucified the master of esteem.
That's good. So that means they wouldn't have killed him if they would have known. You know what I'm saying? There's no way in the world that I could even be able to speak what I speak. And I don't know. Where do I get it from? Like I say, y'all, every one of y'all in here who done sat back and heard him preach. You know what I'm saying? And y'all feel like we saying the same things. By show of hand, that's what you feel. You know what I'm saying? Now, if you feel that way and you like, well, he say ain't nobody taught him, so you'll believe that there. But if I say it, don't nobody believe it. And what would make him any different than me or me any different than him? If that's what he say, the calling that he got, I'm not going to doubt him. Because I'm seeing the work. I'm seeing what you're doing. I see what you're saying. I believe that. And some of y'all know I done told you that, didn't I? I said, I can sit there and see it. That man ain't talking about stuff ain't nobody talking about. I seen quite a few Hebrews in my time. Ain't none of them talking about this. You know, it's funny, right? He just read that and he said we speak the word and the mystery. I remember I was on a blog talk radio show. Dude told me, he's like, he trying to speak some high. No, dude told me I was speaking in the mystery. Matter of fact, we were in Atlanta when the dude told me that. I was on somebody's blog talk, man, dude was talking about multiple wives. I was breaking down to him why he couldn't have multiple wives. And when I got finished, that nigga say, boy, you talking in a mystery. You know what I'm saying? That's what his testimony come out his mouth. I remember another dude told me, he said, man, you trying to speak some higher knowledge. That the whole book's about Jesus Christ. And I'm laughing to myself because Paul say that in the word. You know what I'm saying? Don't he say that that knowledge of Mashiach is a higher knowledge? Or a high calling? He say that. This is what another man said to me. Matter of fact, it was Elder Gabar, a GOCC. That's who said it to me. I know some of y'all don't know who that is, but you know what I'm saying? But that's who said it to me. Another dude told me it was utterly ridiculous for me to say that the whole book was about Yahushua. That was a dude with real Hebrew. He told me that. Say it was utterly ridiculous. Seriously. You'll be surprised how many people don't believe this stuff. That's why I even told y'all about Pastor Smith in the first place. I'm like, boy, that man, they're hard with it. One of the hardest I done seen. I ain't seen none. You know what I'm saying? I know I do my thing, though. Straight up and down. Huh? Oh, I'm like, I can do my thing. I'm confident in myself. I'm confident in myself because I'm confident in the one who gave me the ability. That's why I can be confident in myself. I remember when I was talking to T, and she was like, are you nervous about what you got to do? Nervous for what? This is what I do. Why would I be nervous about doing what I do? That makes sense to y'all? I know some people, if you play sports, you might have a little thing in your stomach.
You're gonna have butterflies.
Huh?
You're gonna have some butterflies.
You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna lie to you. I ain't even had that. I just was ready. I just was ready. I didn't have no nerves. I was ready because I had been waiting on this. I had been waiting on it. You know what I'm saying? What I got y'all for? Come on, let us Stanley kill that Roman 16. I ain't saying that out of no arrogance or no pride or nothing. I'm just saying like I was ready for it. I knew that the likelihood of this situation arising was going to come and you had to be ready. You know what I'm saying? And when you're ready, you're going to do your thing. Some of y'all seen it, some of y'all didn't. It wasn't nothing that y'all had never, that I ain't never shared with y'all. You know what I'm saying? But I was confident in myself.
God.
What?
No respect for the camera.
Say what?
Let's talk.
Come on, Stanley. Romans 16:24.
The grace of our Master, Yahushua HaMashiach, be with you all. Amen. Now to him that is of power to establish you according to my gospel and the preaching of Yahushua HaMashiach, according to the revelation of the mystery, which was kept secret since the world began.
How was it revealed though?
But now is made manifest by the scriptures of the prophets, according to the commandment of the everlasting Alahym, made known to all nations for the obedience of faith. To Yahuwah only wise be glory through Yahushua HaMashiach forever. Amen.
That's good. Before we get to Ephesians chapter 4, brother, something just come to my mind, right? We just read that Luke chapter 24, right? How he said that he gave them understanding, they might understand the scriptures. Who that?
So they try to get on the bus.
Oh, you people left. Right there.
No respect for the camera. God.
That's y'all a question, right? He said he opened their understanding that he might understand the scripture, right? That we just read in Romans 16, right? He talked about the revelation of the mystery because it was kept secret, and now it's been made known to all nations for the obedience of faith. Something come to my mind. I want to know what y'all think is go with that. Because something come to my mind right here on the spot. I'll show you the glory of Yahuwah right here. I ain't never preached this before to nobody. I ain't never heard it preached. Came right here to my mind. We looking at Luke 24, right? What happened in Luke 24 with the Mashiach? What had just happened? He had resurrected from the dead, right? And when he resurrected from the dead, that's when he sat down and he opened their understanding, right? That they might understand the vision. What we could look at for something like that?
I'm saying Adam ate the
And you say Daniel, you say Adam. Anybody else want to take a stab at it? Anybody?
Leave it alone.
Well, you know what we're going to go at? There you go. Come over here to Genesis chapter 37. Not 37. What do you want? 39. Probably about verse 10. 39 to 10. Stanley, you come on around and give me about verse chapter 42. I'll let you know where I want you to go. You got it. Tell me what Genesis 39 to 10 say, Will.
It's saying it came to pass, as she spake with Yosef day by day, that he hearkened not unto her to lie.
Okay, make it 4 and 5. Okay. Just had to make sure that's enough time. So now we sit back and look at it, right? What ends up happening to Joseph, right? He goes to where? He goes to jail. He goes to jail, right? He goes to jail because of a what? A false accusation. Hamashiach went to jail because of what? So he had to go to preach to the spirits well. So now we're going to see Yosef where? In prison. Read 40 and 5.
And they dreamed a dream, both of them, each man his dream in one night. Each man according to the interpretation of his dream. The butler and the baker of the king of Nazarene, which were bound in prison.
They were bound where?
Bound in prison.
Go ahead.
And Yosef came unto them in the morning and looked up upon them, and behold, they were sad.
They were sad.
And he asked Pharaoh's officers that were with him in the ward of his master's house, saying, Wherefore look ye so sadly today? And they said unto him, We have dreamed a dream, and there is no interpreter of it.
Don't you realize that go back to what we looked at? Where it said the prophets beforehand had looked diligently to inquire of those things and had known.
No,
And they, you know what I'm talking about? Ain't that what we looked at? So don't you realize him going to the preach to the spirits in prison was to let them know of the things that they were not aware of? Do you not see the correlation and parallel with that? Is that not what he's doing? They say we didn't know. Because you got to sit back and look at everybody. Abraham, you know, we read about this the other day in Hebrews 11 and 37, right? He said others were not made perfect without us, that we should all be made perfect together, right? So that means Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, David, Isaiah, Jeremiah, Zechariah, Zephaniah, Ezekiel. All of them got all of these visions and testimonies of Mashiach, but yet they went into prison not knowing what they meant. And they were sad, didn't they? So he ended up going down to that pit to do what? To illuminate that division and to give them the understanding that they could be put to death but made quickened by the Ruach. Because that's what he did, right? Because one of them came up and one of them stayed down, didn't he? Come on with it.
And it said, and Yosef said unto him, do not interpretations belong to Yah?
Don't they belong to who?
To Yah.
And who interpreted to the disciples? Now hold on. Just pause, because we talked about this last night, right? If I draw it ugly, y'all forgive me, but we know I can't write too good. Basically like this here. We looked at this letter right here last night, right? Y'all see this one? That's the one we started looking at, right? And which letter did we start with? We started with that one, right? And when we started with that one, we seen that it means this. Closed. Hand. Arm. And one more thing. Work, but hold on, one more thing. To make. When we look at to make, you know what's going on when we look at to make? When we read that Romans 16, I'm going to draw the letter in a minute. When we wrote that Romans 16:24, didn't he sit back and look at a Mashiach calls to make, to understand the vision, to make it clear, to give them understanding? So we see when we look at this particular point of this letter, we actually seeing, he just said, well, who did he say interpretation belong to? Let me put the letter out there.
Interpretations belong to you who?
They belong to you. That's about, you know, my handwriting is up there. That's good enough, I need to do it. We say it's yeah. Y'all see that? That's basically a Z with this right here. We also going to look at this. That is your first letter of your alphabet. That is Alahym. I spell it in the morning. So I have to look at it because I ain't really been studying this stuff. This is all going to tie in to what we've been talking about. Yeah, I know. Yeah. See, we talking about what he know what we were dealing with when we was at the house. When we was at the house, what we did is we'll take this one here and take this here, actually take the whole letter of it, and then try to knock out 3 letters at one time. And then looking at knocking out 3 letters at one time, then we can be able to tie this into these testimonies. And the reason why I want to do that this afternoon, but what we talk about, because it's going to hit what we talk about. I actually wanted to take it and use Psalms 119 and each where the letters are, so you could get a gist of what they look like, even though in the modern they're not.
No respect.
But I know what you're talking about. So we're looking at this here. This is your first one. This is how you would draw. Something like this, you know my hand right now. It means this. Ox, bull. Look at this here. Strength. Leader. And first. Now why would that be important for what we're looking at right now? We'll get to this one here in a second, huh?
Yeah, so the yard, that's a letter, right?
That's a letter.
And it's more than one, it's little letters inside a big letter, basically, right?
Basically.
Okay.
Because this is another. These are 3 letters, but this is the word that you would say for this one word.
So the Y look like that though? It ain't no other.
No, I mean that's how you would write it in English. But that's how you would write it in Hebrew.
The whole thing was just the first part.
This is how you would write it in.
The line is
The
what?
Z in the line that's the character for that. And
For y'all.
yeah.
Oh, all right.
But this right here, you know, it's quite ugly though. That's the
Yeah.
character.
It is.
Nobody asked for you.
What?
Hey,
Yeah, we can talk about
Let me just make a copy of
it.
this.
pass it around.
Let's just run this off.
Yeah, I hear you. What's going on?
Yeah, Jerome, y'all,
Yeah.
yeah, you know, they use carrots, that word, that
Yeah.
word,
We'll do it like this.
the yard, the dollar.
Apostrophe. Yeah, like yeah.
I think it is for pronunciation.
Yeah, that's just for pronunciation.
Now, why would this be? Now, why would it be important about to make? What is he? What is Joseph about to do? Read that verse again for me. All right.
And they said unto him, we have dreamed a dream, and there is no interpreter.
There is no what?
Interpreter. And Yosef said unto them, do not interpretations belong to Yahuwah?
No interpretation belong to Yahuwah, so can't no man know anything unless it be given to him from on high. There's no way Yosef or Joseph could be able to speak this interpretation unless it was given to him from Shammai. Go ahead, Will.
I pray you. And the chief butler told his dream to Yosef and said to him, in my dream, behold, a vine was before me.
A vine was what?
Before me.
What else?
And in the vine were 3 branches.
3 branches.
And it was as though it budded, and her blossom shot forth.
And a blossom shot forth. How many days was Mashak in the grave?
3.
And he told you he was the vine that bear forth fruit. And what did he end up doing? Shooting forth. We didn't talk about this before. Come on.
And the cluster thereof brought forth ripe grapes.
Brought forth ripe grapes. Abide in me and I in you, and you shall bring forth much fruit. Come on.
And Pharaoh's cup was in my hand.
Pharaoh's cup was in my hand. What happened with Pharaoh's cup?
And I took the grapes and pressed them into Pharaoh's cup. And I gave the cup unto Pharaoh's hand.
What happened?
And Yosef said unto him, this is the interpretation of it.
So you know what is this cup representing of? That's the blood. That's the cup they drank on Pesach, on Passover. Come on.
It says, yet within 3 days shall Pharaoh lift up thine head and restore thee unto thy place.
Ooh, you already know what that is.
And thou shalt deliver Pharaoh's cup into his hand after the former manner when thou was his butler.
He said after the former manner when you was, you know what a butler is?
Service.
And what was a mashal?
Service.
He served his father, right? Come on.
But think on me when it shall be well with thee, and show kindness, I pray thee, unto me, and make mention of me unto Pharaoh, and bring me out of his house, this house.
So we sit back, he say, make mention of me unto Pharaoh, and bring me out of this house. Give me Hebrew 5 and 7 standard. You could go to Genesis 42. Genesis 42 and 1 is the second thing that we're going to look at. Hebrews 5 and 7 is the first. Hebrews 5 and 7. Go ahead, sir.
Who in the days of his flesh, when he had offered up praise and supplication with strong crying and tears unto him that was able to save him from death, and was heard, in that he feared.
You know that man ended up sitting back. You know that man got out. He ended up forgetting about Yosef. But don't you sit back and see he making supplications for to remember me to take me up out of here. Come on.
Though he were a son, yet learned he obedience by the things which he suffered.
Get Genesis 37 and 5 and 4. Stanley. Go ahead and look at it. Before we even get, let's just read that Genesis 37 4. Because the reason why I'm looking at this here, we done came to this olive, right? We talking about this olive, right? The thing that we're going to look at is strength, leader, first. You know why we're going to look at this? Because we sit back looking at that. Joseph made an interpretation known. We're going to get to Genesis 42 and 1 about this here because he said his secrets were revealed to his servants, the prophets. You know what I'm talking about? And that the secret was kept manifest. And he said the interpretation of things belong to Yahuwah. So that means the only way that I can be able to interpret a thing and to give understanding of a matter is if Yahuwah gave it. Because I can't do it without that. If I say I can do it without that, then I speak of my own accord. That means y'all don't get the glory. That means I glorify myself. It's just that simple. Huh? Here, listen. Come on, listen. 37 and 3. Now I want y'all to take into account of something. In 1 Chronicles 5 and 3, it states something. Who has the right of the firstborn of the sons of Yasharal? Who had the right of the firstborn?
Joseph.
Huh? Yehuda ended up getting it, but who's supposed to have it?
Reuben.
Reuben's supposed to have it. And when Reuben defiled his father's bed, who did it fall to?
Joseph.
It fell to Joseph. It fell to Joseph. He said, but the genealogy is not to be reckoned after the birthright. Because you know why it falls to Joseph? Because he is the first. He's the firstborn of Rachel. You know what I'm saying? Which would make him the strength and excellency of his dignity. But you know, the right of the firstborn is supposed to go to the wife who had the firstborn. We know the firstborn was Reuben. She was born of the wife of the hated and not the wife of the love. But either way it go, coming out of Rachel, he was the strength. And you also going to see how Joseph was the leader. Which would make sense that he was the firstborn of Rachel. Come on, sir.
It says, now Yasharal loved Yosef more.
He loved him.
He loved Yosef more than all his children.
Don't you realize that the father in Shamahim loved Yahusha more than he loved all of us? Because he gave him all things. See, Hebrews 1 and 1 say, give me Hebrews 1 and 1, Stanley. Make it 1 and 3. 1 and 1 is fine. Hebrews 1 and 1. Go ahead, sir.
Yahuwah, who at sundry times in diverse manners spake in time past unto the fathers by the prophets, have in these last days spoken unto us by his Son, whom he have appointed heir of all things.
He appointed him what?
Heir of all things.
Ain't that what Joseph supposed to be in? Heir of all things. But hold on, don't you sit back and realize something? That when we go back and look at Genesis 42, we see Pharaoh appointing Joseph as heir of all things. Come on.
By whom also he made the worlds, who being the brightness of his esteem and the express image of his person, and upholding all things by the word of his power.
He say upholding all things by the word of his power. You know, Pharaoh told Joseph that nobody can't move unless you speak it. All things going to be upholded by the word of your power, which I gave to you. Come on.
When he had by himself purged our sins, sat down on the right hand of the majesty on high.
Where did Joseph end up sitting at? Second hand of Pharaoh. Go ahead.
Being made so much better than the the angels. I said it right, the Malachims? Yeah. The Malachims, as he had by inheritance obtained a more excellent name than they.
According to Genesis chapter 30, who remember what Joseph and Joseph's name is? Huh? God has taken away my sins. So don't you realize if a Mashiach coming and get me Exodus chapter 23 and about verse 19, Will? He said he obtained a more excellent name than they, because he said he purged your sins from on high, right? When they went on high, right? So there's a reason why he'll say that he got a better name than the Malachim. Let's see why. Exodus 23 and 19.
23 and 19.
Yes, sir.
The first of the first fruits of thy land thou shalt bring into the house of Yahuwah thy Alahym. Thou shalt not see the kid in his mother's milk. Behold, I send a Malachi before thee.
He said what?
A Malachi.
What about?
Before thee, to keep thee in the way, and to bring thee into the place which I have prepared.
What else?
Beware of him.
Beware of him.
And obey his voice.
Listen to him.
Provoke him not.
Don't try.
For he will not pardon your transgression.
He will not do what?
He will not pardon your transgression.
Oh boy. So then you see how Mashiach would be better than him. He can't pardon your transgression.
For my name is in him.
You know what the wild thing is? Joseph pardoned his brother's transgressions. He pardoned their transgressions, didn't he? When they came to him and said, we sinned against thee. Matter of fact, his actual words is, am I in the steed of Alahym? He said, you thought upon me for evil, which he meant for good. Ain't that what he said? Come on, we get you back to Genesis 42. Stand where you at. We're good at Hebrews 1:1. You swim back to this Genesis, get you Genesis of Bereshit 37:3. Read that, or you start at Genesis 37:3. Will did.
I got you.
You get me 42:1. That's all. I appreciate y'all.
Bereshit 30:73.
Yes, sir.
Now Yasharal loved Yosef more than all his children, because he was the son of his old age.
Ain't that son? Because Amashiach is the son of the father who was called the Ancient of Days, and he loved him more than all the Malachim, because they were all his children, weren't they? He loved them more than all of them. Come on. Just what we read in Hebrews 1:1. Let's go.
And he made him a coat of many colors.
Made him a coat of many colors.
And when his brothers saw that their father loved him more than all of his brothers,
They hated him.
they hated him, and could not speak peaceably unto him.
So we sit back and look at that. Yasharal, basically he that is ruled as El, had a son who he loved more than everybody, who was his firstborn, who ended up being a leader because he was the one, let's read 42:1 of Genesis, and you can see, and ended up being the strength to everybody in that situation.
Bereshit 42:1. Now when Yaakov saw that there was corn in Mizraim, Yaakov said unto his sons, why do you look up one
That ain't what I
upon
want. What I want, 41. Yeah, we want 41 and 1. We want to sit back and talk about when Pharaoh get that dream.
Oh, here, go right there.
You might want to use Joe, that thing up. You might want to use
41:1.
that thing that one has seen hard time.
And it came to pass at the end of 2 full years that Pharaoh dreamed, and behold, he stood by the river. And behold, there came up out of the river 7 well-favored kine of fat flesh, and they were fed in the meadow.
That's good. Drop that about verse 5.
And he slept and dreamed the second time, and behold, 7 ears of corn came upon one stalk, ranking good. And behold, 7 thin ears, and blasted with the east wind, sprung up after them. And the 7 thin ears devoured the 7 rank and full ears. And Pharaoh awoke, and behold, it was a dream.
It was a dream. Go ahead.
And it came to pass in the morning that his ruach was troubled, and he sent and called for all the magicians of Mizraim, and all the wise men thereof. And Pharaoh told them his dream, but there was none that could interpret them unto Pharaoh.
Go ahead.
Then spake the chief butler unto Pharaoh, saying, I do remember my faults this day. Pharaoh was wroth with his servants, and put me inward in the captain of the guard's house, both me and the chief baker. And we dreamed a dream in one night, I and he. We dreamed, each man according to the interpretation of his dream. And there was there with us a young man,
A young man.
a Abari,
A Hebrew. Come
a
on.
servant of the captain of the guard.
A servant of the captain of the guard.
And we told him, and he interpreted to us our dreams, to each man according to his dream he did interpret.
Go ahead.
And it came to pass, as he interpreted to us, so it was.
So it was. Oh, so as he interpreted to us, so it was. Come on.
Me he restored unto my office, and him he hanged. When Pharaoh sent and called Yosef, and they brought him hastily out of the dungeon, and he shaven himself and changed his raiment, and came in unto Pharaoh.
He did what?
He shaven himself and changed his
He
raiment.
did what?
He shaven himself and changed his
That's
raiment,
yourself changing his rank, bro.
and came unto Pharaoh.
Why is that important?
Because they took the clothes off Mashiach, dude.
Stanley, get me Luke 24 and 42. Will, get me Philippians 3 and about verse 19. So he done shaved himself and he done came up out of that prison. That's a Mashiach raising from the dead. So it would make sense he would put off those old clothes and put on a new man, now wouldn't he?
Luke 24.
And 42.
Luke 24 and 42.
Make it 39. 39.
Luke 24 and 39. Behold, my hands and my feet, that it is I myself handled me, and see, for a Ruach hath not flesh and bones, as ye see me have. And when he had thus spoken, he showed them his hands and his feet. And while they yet believed not for joy and wondered, he said unto them, have ye here any meat?
That's good. You know what they take it back to? You know it says that about Yahusha, son of Jehoshaphat, the high priest. How he told him to change his clothes. Put on another raiment because he had on filthy garment. Put on another one. Now you read Philippians 3:19. See how that makes sense. When he called for Joseph, he called for Joseph out of prison, and he changed his clothes.
Whose end is destruction? Whose Yah is their belly? Whose Alahym is their belly? And whose esteem is their shame? Who minds earthly things? For our conversation is in Shamayim, from whence also we look for the Savior, Yahuwah, or our Master Yahushua HaMashiach. Who shall change our vile body, that it may be fashioned like unto the glorious body, according to the working whereby he is able even to subdue all things unto
So you
himself.
sit back and realize Pharaoh had to work to subdue everything unto himself. And when he brought Joseph unto him, he had to change his clothes, didn't he? Took them filthy garments up off of him. That's what we turn around and look at it. That's what we trying to achieve. Which is going back to what we started all the way back to. It ain't finished Ephesians chapter 4, but we're going to come back to it. Which was dealing with that 2 Chronicles chapter 24 about the workmen strengthening the house, because he said, ye are the temple of the living Alahym. Ain't that what he told them? And he said, I will walk in them and I will dwell in them and I will be their Alahym and they shall be my people. That's why he said, come out from among them and touch no unclean thing and I will receive you, saith Yahuwah, I shall die and you shall be my sons and you shall be my daughters. When you turn around and you look at it, that's what you seen Joseph do. He didn't touch the unclean thing. He came out from amongst them people. Therefore, he was able to become a son. You understand what I'm saying? Come on back and let's finish this verse 42 or 41. Go ahead, sir. Let them know where you start. Verse 14. Bereshit, Genesis 41.
Then Pharaoh sent and called Yosef, and they brought him hastily out of the dungeon, and he shaven himself and changed his raiment, and came in unto Pharaoh. And Pharaoh said unto Yosef in the dream, I have dreamed a dream, and there is no one that can interpret it.
Nobody can interpret this dream, so it's a secret. Come on.
And I have heard say of thee, that thou canst understand a dream to interpret it. And Yosef answered unto Pharaoh, saying,
What he told him?
it is not of me.
It's not a who?
It is not of me.
It's not a who?
In me.
Go ahead.
Yah shall give Pharaoh an answer of shalom. And Pharaoh said unto Yosef in a dream, behold.
That's good. That's good. So basically, we see him giving an interpretation of the secret after he rose from the dead to give them understanding. Because after he did that, they understood what to do, right? He gave them an understanding that he might understand the vision. You got to realize every prophecy of the scripture was a vision. The Mashiach raised from the dead to give you an understanding that you might understand the scripture. Because the son of Alahym is coming, giving us an understanding. Remember, Jacob's name was turned into Yasharal, which means power to rule as all, which for all intents and purposes, he would be God and Joseph would be the son of God. You know what I'm talking about? Because the son of God being Joseph is he that come to remove sin. That's what Joseph came to do. Take away dishonor. He took that dishonor away. The testimony of a Mashiach. You know what I'm saying? Now let's finish Ephesians 4 and 6 where we started at. Ain't that something? Thank y'all for the work. Ain't that something? But now to get back to the key point of what we went to Ephesians chapter 4 and started in 2 Chronicles chapter 24 by in the first place.
Ephesians 4 and 6.
Yes, sir.
One Alahym, and Father of all, who is above all and through all and in you all.
And you ain't, that's what he just sat back and Joseph just said. Say it ain't me, it's y'all that do it. I mean, he got to be in all and through all. Come on.
But unto every one of us is given grace, according to the measure of the gift of Mashiach.
You said we sit back and we look at everybody who was given a gift. Joseph and Daniel was given the gift to interpret dreams, right? Yahusha, son of Nun, was given the ability to be able to, for Yah to hearken to his voice to make the sun and moon stand still in the middle of the day. And Enoch was given the gift that he was taken. Elijah was given the gift to be taken on high. Elisha was given the gift to raise the dead. Elisha was given the gift to cleanse lepers. Some of those men that were given the gift of prophecy. All these men were given gifts to do one particular thing, which was to edify the body or the congregation of Yahshua. Come on.
Wherefore he said, when he ascended up on high.
When he did what?
When he ascended up on high.
Which we know that's what Joseph ended up doing. Come on.
He led captivity captive.
He took captivity captive.
And gave gifts unto men.
He gave gifts unto men. Ain't that something? Because he took captivity captive, and then Joseph around here giving the gift of corn in the famine unto men. Come on.
Now that he ascended, what is it but he also descended first into the lower parts of the earth?
Into the lower parts of the earth.
He that descended is the same also that ascended up, far above all Shamayim, that he might fill all things.
He might. Ain't that what Joseph ended up doing? Filling all things. Come on.
And he gave some apostles.
He gave some what?
Apostles.
And what else he gave?
And some prophets.
And he gave some prophets.
And some evangelists.
Some evangelists.
And some pastors
And
and
some
teachers.
pastors and some teachers. And what else?
For the perfecting of the saints.
Ain't that what 2 Chronicles chapter 24 say? The workman wrought to strengthen the house to perfect it. Come on.
For the work of the ministry.
For the work of the ministry.
For the edifying of the body of Mashiach.
For the instructing of the body of Mashiach. Come on.
Till we all come into the unity of the faith.
Till we all be made one or a card in the faith of a Mashiach.
And the knowledge of the Son of Alahym.
And the knowledge of who?
The Son of Alahym.
Stanley, you gave me 1 Corinthians chapter 12, about verse 25. So what's the first thing he mentioned, everybody?
Apostle.
He mentioned an apostle. What's the second thing he mentioned?
Prophet.
He mentioned a prophet. What's the third thing he mentioned?
Evangelist.
He mentioned an evangelist. What's the fourth thing he mentioned?
Pastors.
He mentioned a pastor. And what's the last thing he mentioned?
Teacher.
He mentioned a teacher. And that all these, some people like to call them the fivefold ministry. I don't choose to do that, but I've heard people say that. You know what I'm saying? No, I'm not.
Stop it.
You know what I'm saying? But so you see 1 office, 2 office, 3 offices, 4 offices, 5. Now read that 1 Corinthians 12 and 25, see what it says.
1 Corinthians 12:25. That there should be no schisms in the body.
There should be no what?
Schisms in the body.
No schism.
But that the members should have the same care one for another.
Go ahead.
And where the one member suffer,
They all suffer. Don't let
all the members suffer
We
with
got
it.
the ride.
Or one member be honored, all the members rejoice with it.
Go ahead.
Now ye are the body of Mashiach, and members in particular.
Members in particular.
And Yahuwah has set some in the church, in the assemblies.
He said some in the assembly. How did he set them?
First apostles.
First what?
First
So
apostles.
we see that again. What else did he say?
Secondarily prophets.
He said prophets second. What else?
Thirdly teachers.
Thirdly teachers.
After the miracles, then give the gifts of healing, helps, governments, diversities of tongues.
What else is that?
Are all apostles?
Are all apostles?
Are all prophets?
Are all prophets?
Are all teachers?
Are all teachers?
Are all workers of miracles?
Are all workers of miracles?
Have all the gift of healing?
Does everybody be able to heal?
Do all speak with tongues?
Does everybody speak with tongues?
Do all interpret?
Does everybody interpret tongues?
But covet earnestly the best gifts, and yet show I unto you a more excellent way.
So he told you to covet the best gifts, he showed you a better one. So what is he sitting here telling you when what you done heard him say in Ephesians 4 and in 1 Corinthians chapter 12? What y'all take from that?
Everybody gonna have their different gifts. Everybody in the machine.
So what you take from that, man? So that means that's no different. How many of y'all work for like this here? Y'all work at Fleet Landing, right? Y'all got nurses, right? And y'all got CNAs, right? Y'all got other people on the other side of it? What's up, because that's all I know. You got home health, and what else you got? That's it. Who else work in a place where there's multiple people doing multiple different things? Okay, where you work at? I'll give you. First, and what you do?
I'm a minister.
I already heard about you. Moving on up in the world, I see.
What's up?
Go on here, girl. Who all you got in there? What all y'all
They
do?
got the area manager, the branch manager, the
All these people, but and what's the whole goal? To make Hurts a lot of this. That's the goal. Yeah, I know. Go ahead. What?
All right, start at the terminal manager. He the main dude in charge. Then you got the operation manager, handles all the operations.
Mm-hmm.
Then after that, you got the dock supervisor.
Mm-hmm.
Then after the dock supervisor, you got two shifts of dock supervisor. One for inbound, stuff that drivers want to go pick up, stuff the drivers are taking out. That's the outbound or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Then after that, you got the dock workers. And then then you got a dispatcher who's on his own separate thing under the
And
operation
what's
manager.
everybody's job to do? To get this stuff on these trucks and get it on the road. Just like he mentioned in football, right? You got two guards, you got two tackles. Their job is to be able to protect the quarterback and make holes for him. Their job is no less important than the wide receiver running the routes. And the wide receiver is no more important than the running back who makes carries. Who's no more, they like to put everything on the quarterback and give the quarterback all the glory, but that is a team effort for one common cause. So when we sit back and we look at an apostle first, what would make one an apostle according to the word?
He has to be taught by you.
Well, let's look at Exodus 4 and 8. Get your Exodus 4 and 8. We already read a couple of them, the Deuteronomy 29, the Amos 3, the Romans 16. Stanley, get me Hebrews 3 and 1. We'll go from there. After we deal with apostles, we're going to come straight to this one here because that's what's being asked about. Because it's being asked, do you got to have a pastor? The word does not say that you had to have, he said you must have a teacher. Well, wouldn't we say that apostles teach the word? Obviously, we see the position of teachers. He said, how can you hear without a preacher? And how can they preach except they be sent? You know what I'm saying? So when you look at somebody being preaching, we already see an evangelist is a traveling preacher. A prophet prophesies of things in the future. An apostle is a man who has the testimony of Yahushua HaMashiach, not being taught by man. A pastor is a bishop, and a teacher is just a teacher. You know what I'm saying? So that means the qualifications of a teacher is basically what the book would say would be a deacon, which is just a minister or a servant. You know what I'm saying? So you have all these offices that are in line in order to feed the people. Now you got Hebrews that say, I'm a chief priest. And you got some that say, I'm a high priest. And then you have others who say, I'm a preacher. And then you have others who have the gall to say, I am the Shiach. Oh, then we got another one that say, he the comforter. You know what I'm saying? Big old fat greasy nigga. Got his own action figure. I'm for real, they got his own action figure. What I got you guys? Come on with it. 4 and 8.
And it shall come to pass, if they will not believe thee, neither hearken unto the voice of the first sign, that they will believe the voice of the latter sign.
Go ahead.
And it shall come to pass, if they will not believe also these two signs, neither hearken unto thy voice, that thou shalt take out of the water of the river, and pour it upon dry land, and the water which thou takest out of the river shall become blood upon the dry land.
We already know that there, that water they took out that river of life being the Masha, they hit him in his side, it became blood on dry land. Come on.
And Moshe said unto Yahuwah, my master, I am not eloquent.
He said, I can't speak good.
Neither heretofore nor since thou hast spoken unto my servant, but I am slow of speech.
I got a stuttering problem.
And of a slow tongue.
I got a speech impediment. Come on.
And Yahuwah said unto him, who has made man's mouth?
Who made his mouth?
Or who maketh the dumb or deaf, and the seeing or the blind?
You don't sit back and realize that this man say who he made, the dumb, deaf, and the blind, because he told you in Yeshayahu 29, Isaiah 29, I shut their eyes that they couldn't see. You know what I'm talking about? You would sit back and realize he did Ezekiel like that, closed his mouth, that he wouldn't speak, that he was dumb, because nobody couldn't say a word. Come on. That's why you think he sit back and say who he made dumb. Because he made a Mashiach dumb. We already read that in 1 Peter chapter 2. He didn't say a word. Come on.
Who has made man's mouth, or who maketh the dumb, or the deaf, or the seeing, or the blind? Mm-hmm. Have not I Yahuwah?
So guess what? If you can't hear the word, guess who made you deaf? You can't see a Mashiach in the word, guess who closed your eyes? Come on.
Now therefore go, and I will be with thy mouth.
He'll be what?
I will be with thy mouth.
What else?
And teach thee what thou shalt say.
He'll teach you what?
What thou shalt say.
Hebrews 3:1. We have John 12:49. Because y'all already know what we finna look at. Y'all should know. It ain't like the first time we done went over this. Some of y'all. You don't say everybody. You know what I'm saying? Because people want to know, it's basically, can only a bishop teach the word? It's basically what her question is. That's basically what y'all think about. Because basically that's how that was presented to you, right? That basically if you don't have a bishop, you can't hear the word.
Yeah, that our souls are in danger.
You know what I'm saying?
Hebrews 3:1.
Go ahead.
Wherefore, Kodash brethren, partakers of the Shamayim calling, consider the apostle and high priest of our profession, Hamashiach Yahusha.
So basically, if Hamashiach being called an apostle, 12th chapter, 49th verse of even on the book of John. Let's sit back and see that there, because remember, he's a prophet like under Moses, right? You know what I'm saying? Moses was a Levite. But according to my memory served me correctly, he was never put in the priesthood. He was just a leader. He was a judge, he was a ruler, he was a Messiah type, but you never see him being referred to as a priest. You know what I'm saying? That's why I say that. You don't see him being, he was of the priestly tribe, which is why he had to be in the tribe of Levi, because Mashiach was a priest. You know what I'm saying? But you don't actually read what he's directly called, the priest, like Aaron the high priest, or such and such priest. You don't hear him, he's set apart from them. You know what I'm saying? He's different from them. Come on.
Luke 9.
Yes, sir. 12:49.
Leave stuff alone.
For I have not spoken of myself, but the Father which sent me. He gave me a commandment what I should say and what I should speak.
Just like Moses, right? So we see Moses as a similitude of a Mashiach being an apostle, even in the Torah, you know. You know what I'm saying? So we see that the law would back somebody. You know, I've talked to dudes like there's no apostle in the law and showed them this, and then they talk to me like, oh man, see, that ain't really what that meant. You know what I'm saying? I'm serious though. Because you got to remember all the secrets that the people didn't know. Moses went and manifested that to them. But first he taught it to Aaron, and then Aaron taught it to the people. You know what I'm saying? Because he told Moses that you would be his Alahym, and what would Aaron be? Your prophet. You know what I'm saying? You gonna go show this to the people. Just like with a Mashiach. The Father is his Alahym. I show you the signs and teach you the signs. You know what I'm talking about? You go show them to the people. And through that, the people see that and they believe. So we see, from looking at Deuteronomy 29 and 29, Romans 16 and 24, Amos 3 and 7, but get me Galatians 1 and 10. All we dealing with is, okay, that's an apostle. Stanley, you could get Romans 10 and 14. Come on.
Galatians 1 and 10.
Go ahead.
For do I now persuade men,
Do I persuade men
or Alahym?
or the Most High?
Do I seek to please men?
Do I seek to please a man?
For if I yet please men, I should not be the servant of Mashiach.
What else?
But I certify you, brother.
If he say he's certified, what that mean?
Stop that.
I'm letting you know, boy, you can take it to the bank. What is certified man? You got to sign for this. Come on.
I certify you, brother, that the gospel which was preached of me is not after man.
He said the gospel I'm preaching, I ain't get it from no man. I'm sitting here telling you, boy, the gospel that I'm preaching, I ain't get it from no man. And truth be told, I frankly don't care who or who don't believe it. To be dead honest. You know what I'm saying? Because, boy, you can on chapter 5 say, how can you believe that seek honor one from another, not the honor that comes from Alahym only? I don't need no validation from no man. You know what I'm saying? And that ain't no disrespect to nobody. That's just how I feel. And that's not the first time y'all done heard me say that. You know what I'm talking about? So don't think that I'm saying that because of this situation. You know what I'm talking about? I don't need no validation from no man. You know what I'm saying? Because I can speak that with boldness and confidence. The gospel that I'm preaching is not after man. Go ahead.
For I neither received it of man, neither was I taught it, but by the revelation of Yahushua Mashiach.
I didn't get it from no man. Ain't no man. My little sister said, how many congregations you know I done sat up there and been at? I ain't been to them. That 5 weeks we was up there is the most I've ever sat down and heard anybody preach the word like that to me in my entire life. I ain't grew up in no Christian church. I ain't never set foot in one. You know what I'm talking about? Like you talking about getting to go up to church on Sunday and all that stuff like some of y'all did coming up. I don't know nothing about that. I ain't never experienced that. If you want to sit back and tell you, I'm going to put it on the record. So all y'all can know. I started dealing with this word in 2009. You understand what I'm telling you? My homeboy used to come take me to the house, to his house, and he would show me certain people, but they was regular One West dudes. That stuff was garbage. You know what I'm saying? I would write down everything them niggas was saying, go back home and cross-examine it. I wasn't feeling it. You know what I'm saying? I did a lot of reading on my own. Hours upon hours, day in and day out. You know what I'm saying? That's straight up and down. Not gonna give you no lie. Well, I did not have no internet where I stayed at that time. I did not have no headphones when I go to the library to listen to nothing. So therefore, if I wasn't with him, I ain't hear nothing. You know what I'm talking about? 2010 rolled around, same situation. After that, I went to stay with my homeboy for a little minute. Another one of my homies, he had internet. We were looking at the second one. The first one, no. The second one, he had an internet. We looked at a couple stuff. The nigga wasn't talking about nothing. I think around that time, that's when Fat Boy might have showed us, Pastor. Now, at this time, I was staying at my job 4 days a week, sleep there, sleep at a hotel 3 days a week. I had no cell phone. Also, at the same time, when I'm telling you about all this stuff go down at the time period, I had no cell phone. So there is no, get the cell phone, hit YouTube and watch no video. There was no ability to do that at all, period, at any time. You know what I'm saying? I ended up staying with a brother in San Marco, and my sister know. He had internet, we was there. I might catch a service at the synagogue on Wednesdays if I ain't had to go to work and I was in the house. Or maybe Friday night, depending when I came in the house. Saturdays, we was up with the dude Josiah. Probably about around, I forget when it was, but it was around that time. You know what I'm saying? Not like initially, maybe like 5-6 months later. I think I got there in like March. You know what I'm saying? Huh?
2012. That's when I like came back.
Yeah, you wasn't. No, this is 2011.
Okay.
We had already been dealing with Josiah by the time. Because I remember when Pell came down here with Tampa, that's when I showed him about Ezekiel 38 and 39. He was like, he had never heard that before. You know what I'm saying? And that was something that he had showed me like a year before. I've been had held that. No, I just wasn't preaching. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't teaching nobody at this time. So a lot of stuff that I knew, obviously nobody else didn't know it because I wasn't really sharing it like that. You know what I'm saying? So when we leave from there, late 2011, me and Nell stay on Barnes Road. Again, no laptop, no internet, no Wi-Fi, no nothing. You know what I'm saying? That goes all the way to May 2012. I don't see nothing, can't watch nothing. I had a phone, but I had one of them Kakira phones, one of them cheap phones from Metro. Ain't no watching no YouTube on that. You know what I'm saying? I'm dead serious. Y'all know what phone I'm talking about? Well, you could barely get on the internet with that old cheap behind phone, man. And that's about around the time that some of y'all know I was sending people text messages of certain things that I was sending to a particular individual. And then I started sending it out to everybody. And then we went out there to Victoria Park with my homeboy Bell for a little bit. You know what I'm saying? No laptop, no internet, no phone, no nothing. You know what I'm saying? Ain't got the ability to do it. That's when me and Dale end up October 2012 staying in the townhouse. That's when we would end up watching him Saturday afternoon because I would have been done with Friday night. You know what I'm saying? Now we have laptop and internet, I have access. She assumed that, okay, if I was in the house, that I would sit around and watch videos of them preaching all the time. But I wasn't though. I was watching movies. You know what I'm saying? If I cut it on, I was watching movies. Or I was watching things pertaining to lifting weights. You know what I'm saying? But sitting like it's one thing if I come in and I catch you live. I just didn't have the wherewithal to be like, let me cut this on and watch 2 hours of this and 2 hours of that and 2 hours of this because I didn't feel the need to have to do that. You know what I'm saying? We ended up leaving there. July 2013, went around there with Mom Deuce in Victoria Park again. Had a phone, I had that Criteria phone, but no, that phone bill ended up black because I lost my job. So no laptop, no YouTube, no phone. Going to the library, ain't got no headphones. You know what I'm saying? So I can't go to the library and watch nothing. You know what I'm saying? Ain't seeing nothing. And that's all up to this very day. Then I get this phone. Man, look at me. I had Metro, man. There wasn't no Wi-Fi around there where I stay at, man. Man, you know once that data gone, that thing moves slow as a snail. You ain't gonna be able to watch nothing. You can't watch no hours and hours of video with no $40 plan for Metro. You ain't got no Wi-Fi. You ain't gonna be able to see nothing. You know what I'm talking about? But I'm just sitting back saying all like this here, right? The time that if I seen something from them, it's because I walked in a room or went somewhere and somebody was watching that when I got there. You know what I'm saying? But as far as going on my own and doing it, that's no disrespect to them and what they doing and what they. I just didn't feel the need to. You know what I'm saying? Just didn't feel the need to. So I'm not gonna sit here and tell you, oh boy, I got that from him, I got that from him. But in 5 weeks we was up there and he said something that added on to what I got, what I had, I can acknowledge that. You know what I'm saying? When he mentioned something about them people resurrected from the dead, and that was Mashiach giving birth, when he said that, first thing came in my head was Isaiah 66. About should I bring forth to the birth and shut the womb? He didn't touch that. That's what came in my mind when he was talking about it. You know what I'm saying? You just added on to what I already had. I can acknowledge that. You know what I'm saying? So even Dwight was like, when we was up there, he was like, shoot, well, you got the same thing. I didn't tell him that or even allude to that. He brought that up on his own. Read that verse again.
But I certify you, brother, that the gospel which was preached of me is not after man. For I neither received it of man, neither was I taught it, but by the revelation of Yahushua HaMashiach.
Just like it just came to my mind to show you how giving them understanding after he resurrected from the dead with Joseph. I didn't learn that from nobody. I didn't get taught that by nobody.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Some of y'all done been around me. Any of y'all ever known me to talk about, boy, I'm watching somebody's sermon right now? Any of y'all ever called me or popped up on me and be like, hold on, boy, I'm watching something. I'm doing it. Not at all. Some of y'all know y'all done called me and we done went to talking and I done went to dropping on stuff that I'm like, well, I'm going to have to preach that tomorrow. Wasn't even think about it. I know Troy know. You know what I'm saying? I know Will know. I know Stanley done been on that for a few walks. Troy done came up to me, live in the flesh, pulled up to the house, be like, bro, what did it mean? Been done hit on that there. Where I got that from? Where I get to be able to show that Doeg the Edomite is a Mashiach? Where I learned that from? You know what I'm saying? Where I get that from? So I certify you, brethren. The gospel that I preach is not after man. Neither did I learn it from him, neither was I taught it. I'm not going to say that, because then I'd be lying. Drop down to verse 15. Will.
But when it pleased Yah, who separated me from my mother's womb and called me by his grace, to reveal his son in me, that I might preach him among the heathen.
That's all it is. For grace is undeserved gift of favor. There's absolutely nothing that I did. There's nothing about me. I can't tell you why he did it. I can't explain to you why he did it. All I know is I know it and I'm going to share it. That's it. What I got you open now?
Romans 4.
Romans 10 and
10,
14.
14.
Okay, we already know what a prophet is, right? How does one get made a prophet? In a vision or a dream, right? Do prophets teach the word or do they just speak of a future event? Okay, so we know that's one way for the people to get edified in. So we see an apostle get edified the people through the testimony of Mashiach, which he received by revelation and not man, right? And we see a prophet, so that's what his role is. And then we see a prophet is to do what? Prophesy. Continue on, brother. 10 and 14,
Romans 10 and 14. How then shall they call on him in whom they have
He
not
said,
believed?
how shall they call on him in whom they have not heard?
And how shall they believe in him of whom they have not heard?
How you gonna believe in somebody whom you've not heard?
And how shall they hear without a preacher?
So now Paul just said he was something to go preach this man amongst people, right? So they could believe on him, right? Because we take this logic, then Paul shouldn't have been doing what he was doing either then. If we take this, I'm just doing what this book says. Because didn't it say, Paul said, you revealed your son to me to go preach him amongst the heathen? So that means that's what so if he preaching them amongst the heathen, so that means he preaching to them so the people could call on him whom they believe. Because you wouldn't be able to call on the man if you didn't believe in him. And the only way you can believe in him is if somebody come preach it to you. You know what I'm saying? Now the only way any of y'all believe in the Mashiach is because I've done what? Preached it to you. You know what I'm saying? That's it. Bottom line, come on.
And how shall they hear without a preacher?
How they gonna hear without one?
And how shall they preach except they be sent?
Now, if we sit back and look at, he says he gave some apostles, some prophets, some evangelists, some pastors, some teachers. Wouldn't an apostle have to be sent? Well, let's look and see if an apostle would be sent. Will give me Acts 22 and 14. Let's see if make it 12, make it 10. Let's see if an apostle would be sent. Because Paul was not a bishop. Was Paul ever married? So he was not a bishop. But that wasn't his office. That wasn't his job. Peter was a bishop. He was married. He said, I myself who am an elder. You know what I'm saying? See, you can become an elder or a bishop by man. See, Acts 14 tell you that. Even Titus chapter 1 tell you that. Acts 14, he said, go ordain others. They ordained other men to be elders in the cities. Titus chapter 1, you hear Paul telling Titus to ordain other people as pastors, even as Paul ordained Titus to be a pastor. We'll read that though. Don't worry about it. Come on. Oh, you got it. 20. Go ahead.
And I said, what shall I do, master? And Yahuwah said unto me, arise and go to Damascus, and there it shall be told of thee all the things which are appointed for you to do.
He said, you go there, they'll tell you everything you're supposed to do. Come on.
And when I could not see for the steam of that light, being led by the hand of them which were with me, I came to Damascus. And one Aeneas, a devout man according to the Torah.
If he devout, that means he faithful. Come on.
Having a good report of all the Yahudim which dwelt there.
That means nobody couldn't say nothing bad about him. Come on.
He came to me and stood and said unto me, Aki, Shaul, receive thy sight. And the same hour I looked up upon him. And he said, the Alahym of our fathers have chosen thee.
He chose you.
That thou shouldst know his will.
You'll know what he wants you to do.
And see that just one.
See that just one.
And should have heard the voice of his mouth.
Didn't we just talk about the other day about how that man those that are of his flock will hear him? The only way you're going to hear him because you hear the Son. Did you see how you say, see that just one? See, remember, we preached about it a long time ago with that Psalms 119. Behold, open my eyes that I might behold wondrous things out of thy law. Because Paul said he was an expert in the law, wasn't he? But yet he couldn't behold the wondrous things till he blinded the man. Then he opened his eyes by the light. And it's something that he gave him light that made him blind, and that same light that made him blind gave him sight. Ain't that what he said in Eucharist chapter 9? That man say, what can the blind? He say, can the devil give the sight to the blind? He say, can the devil give sight to the blind? It's certain places y'all didn't believe in the Mashiach unless you got showed it to you. So that means you were blind. So it goes back to what we were talking about when he said in Exodus. He said, if I have not, y'all gave out, made the deaf, made the blind, made the dumb. Oh, man. Finish that, read that verse 14 again, Stanley, in Romans chapter 10. Will, you can get me 1 Timothy 3 and 1.
Romans chapter 10, verse 14.
Read it again.
How then shall they call on him in whom they have not believed? And how shall they believe in him of whom they have not heard? And how shall they hear without a preacher?
Now when you say preacher, see, we don't want to look in the Greek, but if we look in preacher, that's not going to say apostle, it's not going to say teacher, it's not going to say bishop. A preacher is a manifest of the word, right? An instructor, a scribe. Come on.
And how shall they preach except they be sent?
So the only way you're going to be able to do it is y'all going to have to send you to do it. How else was Joseph able to manifest those visions and dreams, be able to preach to people and let y'all son it? Come on.
As it is written, how beautiful are the feet of them that preach the gospel of Shalom and bring glad tidings of good things.
So you sit back and realize when we're preaching to my shop, we're bringing glad tidings of good things. How else I'm going to be able to do it? Come on.
But they have not all obeyed the gospel.
All of them ain't obeyed. Why?
For Yeshayahu said, Master, who have believed our report? So then faith come by hearing.
Faith come by what?
Hearing.
And hearing come by what?
By the word of Yahuwah.
So that means the only way you're going to be able to believe is you're going to have to hear the word. So that means, guess what that means? We done already moved. That means you can believe on Yahuwah by apostle. You can believe on Yahuwah by a prophet, because it said the testimony of Yahushua is the spirit of prophecy. So that means all those prophets and all that beforehand, that's the testimony. So I mean, an evangelist is a traveler. See, I think that's 1 Chronicles 17. You ain't got to go get it. Where you'll see King Josiah getting all these men in the land of Yehuda and sending them out to go teach the law to the people. So now we still got an example of traveling preaching. You know what I'm saying? That's an evangelist. Now the next thing you got is a pastor, a bishop, an elder. So that's where this 1 Timothy 3:1 come in. Come on. Even when we sit back and we look at that, he say what's set in the body first off is an apostle. That's what it said, right? And both of them, they were first. So if we take that, he say he's set in the body. I didn't want to make it clear. That's what the word say. 1 Corinthians chapter 12 say he said firstly what? Apostles and then prophets. So if we look at firstly, that means in rank or order of offices, an apostle is above all of them.
Yeah, because you made this look made it seem like a bishop is what I'm talking about.
You know what I'm saying? Because see, you could be a bishop and be taught by a man. Get Act 14, 20, and 22 and that'll back that up. I'm not saying this here to boast in myself or nothing. I'm just sitting back talking about what we read. Did we not read in 1 Corinthians chapter 12 that it said he said firstly in the body apostles? Yep. That means if they first, that means they got preeminence. You know what I'm saying? That means they got preeminence. That's all that means is they said first. Then he said secondarily prophets. Then thirdly teachers. Because for all intents and purposes, a pastor and a teacher are about the same thing. Except it's that a pastor would be over a minister. You know what I'm saying? We'll read that Act 14 and 22 first.
Confirming the souls of the disciples and exhorting them to continue in the faith, and that we must, through much tribulation, enter into the kingdom of Alahym.
Yep.
And when they had ordained them elders,
when they had did what?
Ordained them elders in every assembly
and every congregation,
and had prayed with fasting, they commended them to Yahuwah, on whom they believed.
On whom they believe. 1 Timothy 3:1. Now, by no means like this. I'm just letting you know that, because that's what some of y'all say y'all got confused at, because you're being told, okay, you got to have a bishop, but I'm not saying that he's not this and that he can't do this. But when you hear that to the regular average person, that's a contradiction. You're going to be confused, because what are you trying to tell me? Because in one voice you're saying he shouldn't do it. In another voice you're saying, well, I can't really say he can't. So what ends up happening with that? That confuses people.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie, like when that was said to me, I was like, dang, well, bro, I ain't got that, so I'm gonna put my thoughts against you, low key, man. So it was coming at me like that.
I mean, I can understand that. I ain't mad at nobody. You heard me say I was mad at anybody. Do you see that y'all don't really, I can understand your thought process? You know what I'm saying? Because I know what he's saying. Sitting here saying, oh, you sitting over a congregation. We ain't sitting over anybody. These people come to hear the word. You know what I'm saying? You come to hear the word, you're going to get that. How many of y'all felt like before you heard the word that you believed on the mashak like you were supposed to? You know what I'm saying? And then after you got to actually hear him, was your faith increased or decreased? You know what I'm saying? Now he said the only way you can believe and call on this man is if you heard of him. Y'all be the judge. Have you heard of him? So if you heard of him, would that make your soul be in danger? Because guess what Paul was doing? Paul was an apostle, and what we read last night, he said he was doing. He said he was baptizing people. He said he wasn't son to do it, but he did it. You know what I'm saying? See, sometimes we can get caught up in the one thing that we don't never. I'm talking about me first. You don't want your faith to get caught up in no man. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about me first. I ain't talking about nobody else. I want to make that clear. You know what I'm saying? Because we already read that in 1 Corinthians chapter 2, that your faith should not stand in the wisdom of men, but the power of the Most High. Your faith shouldn't stand in what I'm talking about, or any other man. That's why he said, are you of Cephas? He said, who is Cephas? Who is Paul? Who is Apollos? He said, they're just men whom you heard the gospel. You know what I'm saying? That's it. No more, no less. You know what I'm talking about? See, we know it's going to put your soul in danger is if we wasn't in here talking about nothing. What put your soul in danger is if you wasn't being instructed on how to live your life according to this man's word. What put your soul in danger is if you around here committing sin on a regular basis and nobody cares if you're doing it. That's what's going to put your life in danger. We can't sit back and say, okay, y'all got the word is there, but that disqualified all of that. You can't sit back and say, well, he's not a bishop, so, but he could be an apostle. I can't tell him to stop. I done already told y'all numerous times, if you put a but in, that disqualified everything that came before that. How many times I done told you that no matter what the situation is? Have I told you that before? Have I told you that before? I done told you that before. Now, I don't know if he said but to y'all when you were talking to you. Only you know that. You keep that to yourself. You know what I'm saying? But if but come, but if I say, you know what? You know you shouldn't have sex and you're not married. But if you're feeling a little froggy, ain't nothing wrong with it. Everything I said before that but is gone. Because all that but means is, I ain't really mean none of that stuff I said before that. Only part I really mean is the second. I can't speak for no other man's mind. All I'm telling you is my life experience, how I look at it, that's how I'm going to judge it. You know what I'm saying? You may do it differently. 1 Timothy 3. Will, give me Titus 1 and 4.
This is a true saying. If a man desire the office of a bishop,
It said, you see if he say desire, see you see the key thing, you know what desire is?
If you
Want to obtain.
Something that you want to obtain. You can't want to obtain to be an apostle. He either gonna make you one or you're not gonna be one. You can't desire that. But you can desire to be a pastor. Go ahead. Go ahead.
this is a true saying. If a man desire the office of a bishop, he desire the good work.
Yes, sir.
A bishop then must be blameless,
Can't commit no sin.
a husband of one wife,
Gotta have one wife.
vigilant,
He got to be vigilant.
sober,
Gotta have a clear mind.
of good behavior,
Got to behave himself.
given to hospitality,
Gotta
and
be able to know how to treat people, and he gotta be ready to teach the word. Come on.
not given to wine,
Can't be no drunk.
nor striker,
Can't put his hands on nobody.
nor greedy of filthy lucre.
Can't be greedy for money. I'm talking about unjust money. That's why he said filthy. Ain't nothing wrong with him if he want to get money, but getting it by unclean or unrighteous means. Come on.
But patient,
Patient,
not a brawler,
not really to fight.
not covetous.
Can't be coveted.
One that ruleth well his own house,
So I mean he gotta control his house.
having his children in subjection
Gotta
with all
have his kids
gravity.
under control.
For if a man know not how to rule his own house, how shall he take care of the assembly of Yahuwah?
He said, if you can't even direct your wife and direct your kids, there's no way you could direct the people. You know what I'm saying? Now, I know you done mentioned it and Brittany mentioned it before. You be like, you know, you don't really get on TV. Some of y'all know that. Well, I get on in person. In y'all. But y'all have no idea how hard I snap on her and that y'all don't hear or see. You know what I'm saying? You have no idea. You know what I'm saying? Have no idea. And I told you before, you really had no idea. Y'all might not perceive that because I might not crash in front of y'all all the time. Oh, but better believe. Better believe. Better believe. I just crashed this nigga about 2 nights ago. You know what I'm saying? Even when the situation, when she came and told me, I called her and asked her. First thing came out my mouth, what did you do that for? That was stupid. You know what I'm talking about? I just wanted to know. Wanted to know for what? You could have just sat there and be, I really wanted to know. This is your excuse for everything. You should have told me. I don't want to hear that, man. You said the same thing when you called Brittany after about that day, what you claim you don't remember. And your exact word to me was, you shouldn't have told me. You should have shut your mouth. You know what I'm saying? Nigga can't hold water. Because you always want to know. It's not funny, though. You know what I'm saying? Dead serious. I'm not like this. No, it ain't funny. It ain't funny. But I'm dead serious though. Certain stuff, like remember when y'all came around to that day and you were like, well, you don't know. I be straightening that nigga. You know what I'm saying? Don't think that I don't, because that stuff get me hot. I mean, they know because he done been in the house where I done been on the phone with her and went slap off. That nigga like, well, you need to go outside. Well, I want to hear all this stuff. Slap off. Just because you don't see it, don't mean it don't happen. Because guess what? She not going to tell you how I went off on her. She might tell you every now and then. She tell you every now and then, though. She don't tell you every time, do it, though. She don't tell you every time. She don't tell you every time. She don't tell you every time. Because in the end, she don't realize stuff you be doing, that stuff make me look bad, or make you look bad. And you don't know, can't seem to wrap your... Matter of fact, I went off on her about that. She like, oh, you seem to worry about it how you look. What you mean? You know what I'm saying? What do you mean? I'm sitting here telling you what you did reflected bad on me. And you ain't clicking in your brain that what you doing can reflect bad on me. Because I ain't stamping you doing this or doing that. Then when I tell you about it, you like, man, I can't understand. You're just worried about, I ain't worried about what people think about me, but you're not looking at what I do. Then you looking at what I do, and they looking at what you do, and they like, well, it look like, bro, go with that. You don't think about that stuff because you don't weigh stuff out before you do it. You don't weigh stuff out before you say it. You know what I'm saying? You don't, out of school you on it, but you don't really be strategic. You know what I'm saying? You done heard me tell her she need to learn some finesse, don't you? Just a little bit of skill. So you can learn a little bit of skill, you keep your stuff up out of stuff. You can duck and dodge and slide and boom, boom, boom. And you can find out and know the things you want to know without doing all that. You know what I'm saying? But I just told Brittany, same thing. I tell y'all, see, I know, see all three of y'all. Y'all from the same town, and y'all share 3 similar traits. You talk too much. You're hard-headed, and you don't like for nobody to tell you nothing.
Check too.
Oh, but guess what though? The difference being though, I'll come and tell you I said it. See, that's the thing though. Y'all will say something.
Let's go from you to T. And
You know, sometimes, I'm gonna tell you though, sometimes though, what she end up mentioning is my opinion. And then she'll take it as if somebody told me that or said that. And usually it'd be my opinion. You know what I'm saying? A matter get brought to me, I'll give my opinion. This how I view this, this how I see this. Because you remember a while back, because you acknowledged it and Brittany acknowledged it. Y'all know y'all used to tell T stuff because you didn't want to come to tell me because y'all know she was going to tell me and then get what I wanted to do off that. Sit down somewhere. Because one thing about it, right? Now, I'll tell you how I view a situation, right? But you know I'm not going to get in those specifics. But you know what you just got caught doing, right? Did I go and ask anybody else about what you did? You came and see, there's a difference in that. If you went and did something, I'm not going to ask nobody else about what you did. You know what I'm talking about? Now, if there's certain thing going on that I see, yeah, I'm going to speak on that. I'm going to speak on that. I see that, I don't care for it. A lot of times what y'all think somebody been done told me, it's really just what I see, or my opinion. Like I talked to Brittany earlier, and she was like, well, it was something that I supposed to say that I said that he said. I said, I didn't say that that man said that. I said, that was my opinion or assessment of a situation. That's how it was presented to you, but that's not what it was. If you wanted to know what it was, you could have just asked me and I told you. I didn't say that. I gave my opinion. You understand? You know what I'm saying? There's a difference of me giving my opinion. This is how I view that. Because 9 times out of 10, I know she's going to tell you my opinion. Because I want you to know it so you can do it. Because I know if I come at you directly, sometimes you niggas kick and scream. You know you done it. You done it. You know what I'm saying? I know you're going to kick and scream. I know if she comes sliding to you, you might take it a little better. Say you don't take it better. But hey, you know why we were doing that? You know why it went down like that? Because you told me that's what you were doing. You had told me you used to tell her stuff for her to tell me so I could tell you what to do.
Yeah, I mean, it's not happened before.
But you said
this situation, different. I ain't going into it. We'll talk.
yeah, she told me about it. That one there, she took it upon herself to say something, and that's not what it was. She assumed. So what you got told, that wasn't accurate. You know what I'm saying? You understand what I'm saying? Because she already told me about it, and I told her. Why did you say that? Well, I thought that's what I heard. That's not what it was. So she gave you some inaccurate information. That's on Tito. Come on, let's finish up. We gotta get out of here.
I'm on Titus.
Go ahead. 1 and 4. 1 and make it 3.
Titus 1 and 3. But having due times manifest his word through preaching, which is committed unto me according to the commandment of Alahym.
Whoa, he said, what was committed? Make it 1 and 1. Titus 1 and 1. Listen to what he said.
Paul, a servant of Yahuwah,
A servant of Yahuwah,
an apostle of Yahushua
an
HaMashiach,
apostle of Hamashiach.
according to the faith of Yahuwah's elect,
He say, according to the faith of Yahuwah's chosen,
and the acknowledging of the truth,
the acknowledging of the truth,
which is after godliness,
after set apart living,
in hope of eternal life,
the hope that you can live forever.
which Yahuwah that cannot lie,
He can't lie.
promised before the world began.
He said he promised you that for the world started.
But having due times manifest his word through preaching,
He manifested his word through what?
preaching,
Preaching.
which is committed unto me according to the commandment of Yahuwah.
So he say that preaching was committed unto him according to what?
The commandment of Yahuwah.
So that means that Paul, you think he just was preaching the Mashiach, that means he taught the law too, right? We know that from 1 Corinthians chapter 11, to keep the ordinances I delivered them unto you. He said this was committed to me because y'all commanded for me to speak it. Come on.
To Titus, my own son after the common faith.
My own son.
Grace, mercy, and peace from Yahuwah, the Father, and the Master, Yahushua HaMashiach, our Savior.
Go ahead.
For this cause left I thee in Crete, that thou shouldest set in order the things that are wanting, and ordain elders in every city.
So he telling Titus to appoint pastors. Go ahead.
As I had appointed thee.
So he's saying, so Paul had the power to make him a pastor.
If any be blameless,
Any be what?
if any be blameless,
And what else?
the husband of one wife,
What else?
having faithful children,
What else?
not accused of riot or unruly.
What else?
For a bishop must be blameless as the steward of Yahuwah,
That means he's a steward, meaning he's a keeper of the word. He watch over it.
not self-willed,
Not I mean, he can't do what he want to do. We know that when the Mashiach said, not my will be done, but thy will be done. Come on.
not soon angry,
Can't get angry.
not given to wine,
Not a drinker.
no striker,
No striker.
not given to filthy lucre,
Lucre.
but a lover of hospitality,
Uh-huh.
a lover of good men,
Uh-huh.
sober, just, holy, and temperate,
Set apart and have self-control. Go ahead.
holding fast the faithful word as he hath been taught,
Holding fast the faithful word as he's been taught.
that he may be able by sound doctrine
By sound teaching.
both to exhort and to convince the
That means to
gainsayers.
warn and to
To
convince
convince.
people that's speaking against what's going against the word. So you see, this is the things that, these are three different offices. We know from Hebrews 5, he said when the time come again that you become teachers, and you need one again to teach you the first principles of the oracles of Alahym, he said you will need of milk and not meat. You know what I'm saying? When you sit back and you look at that, a teacher is something totally different. We didn't read in 1 Timothy 3, but to be a minister or a teacher, it's almost like the same qualification that it would be for a bishop. You know what I'm talking about? But each one has a different office. Each one has a different ability. Because as we read, get that Ephesians 4:11 one more time. We'll stop right there. That Ephesians 4:11 one more time. Go ahead, sir.
And he gave some apostles,
Gave some apostles,
and some
and
prophets,
some prophets,
and some evangelists,
and some
and
evangelists,
some
and
pastors,
some pastors,
and teachers,
and teachers,
for the perfecting of the
for the
saints,
perfecting of the Kadeshim,
for the working of the
for
ministry,
the work of the ministry.
for the edifying of the body of Mashiach.
That's all it's about. That's all that I'm here for, is for the strengthening and perfection of the people and the edifying of his people. Everybody got a job to do. Matter of fact, give me 1 Corinthians chapter 12, standing at verse 5. Everybody got a job to do. You know what I'm saying? And everybody's job is not going to be the same.
1 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 5.
What do you say?
And there are differences of administration.
You know what it means to administrate, right? That means it's different ministers, it's different workers. Come on.
But the same master.
Same king. Come on.
And there are diversities of operations,
Different ways to work it.
but it is the same Yahuwah which work in all
So it's the same power in all of them. Come on.
But the manifestation of this Ruach is given to every man to profit withal.
So it's given to every man for gain. For with all he sent him to do. Come on.
For to one is given by the Ruach the word of wisdom,
So one man get wisdom.
to another the word of knowledge by the same Ruach,
Somebody get knowledge.
to another faith by the same Ruach,
Some get faith.
to another the gifts of healing by the same Ruach,
Some can be able to heal.
to another the working of miracles,
Some can do a miracle.
to another prophecy,
Some can prophesy.
to another discerning of
He
spirits,
can see a spirit.
to another diverse kinds of
He
tongues,
can speak in different languages.
to another the interpretation of
He
tongues.
can interpret them languages.
But all these work that one in the self-same Ruach, divided to every man severely as he wills.
So he divides to every man as he sees fit. Praise y'all for that.